Hi, my name is Lynn, and I'm going to talk to you today about making Easter doves for Easter. What is that, you say? They're these little guys. Aren't they cute? And they're so much more attractive than boring dinner rolls that are around and they don't talk to you. Well, these people talk to me all the time. I call them people, they're not really. Anyways, I've been doing this for 30 years in my family, and a lot of times they come up to me just before dinner and they say, "Hey, did you make any more of those?" Because they're that delicious. Okay, so while we're in our houses and we're cooped inside, avoiding the virus, there's a new virus I'd like to introduce you to, and that is the joy of cooking and the joy of baking and spending time in the kitchen. It is fabulous. And the contagious part of it is that you see the joy of their faces when they bite into it. So delicious, and it's really good. And people remember that, and they remember that for years to come, that every Easter you went and you made these Easter doves. Okay? So happy baking, and I'm going to show you the process from beginning to end. It's about 2 hours. It's not that long. Okay, thank you. I'm dedicating this video to my 4 daughters who are no longer living in my house. They're out making a name for themselves. So Heather, Danielle, Jenny, and Becky, happy Easter. I miss you all so much. Okay, let's get started. In this main mixer, this is our recipe. You're going to take 2 cups regular white flour, 2 teaspoons salt, 2 packages of yeast, and 1/2 cup sugar. And you are going to blend them together for 2 minutes. My mixer's kind of noisy, so here we go. The flour. Here's the yeast. It's all a bunch of very tiny granules. If you have never seen that before, there it is. And there's the salt. And there's the sugar. And you just mix that all in. And then you stop. And then you come over here, and I have a small pot. And in that small pot, I'm going to warm up 1/3 cup butter, 1 cup milk, and 1 cup water. Okay? And here is the pot with a 1/3 cup butter, and I have this measuring cup. It's got 1 cup milk and 1 cup water. And we're gonna mix it in there and heat it up till it's very, very warm. And some people use a thermometer. I do not do that. I just have the feel taste or the feel touch. If it kinda is hot enough to take a shower, that's what it is. Okay? It's that simple. And it is at 120 degrees for those of you who are really curious to know about what a warm shower is. Okay, we're going to turn this on. We're going to add our wet, hot ingredients to our dry. Slowly. And with that, we're going to add 1 egg, at room temperature egg. So there it is, bright yellow egg. And my very secret ingredient is almond extract. And it's going to be very liquidy for a few minutes. So you want to have this on for about 5 minutes until it's well incorporated. And you're going to add an additional 3 cups. 3 more cups of flour, very gradually. Now you'll notice after a few minutes of adding in the extra flour that it's going to start pulling away from the sides. And that's when you know that your flour or your dough is getting ready to be taken out and kneaded. It's getting a little better, a little less wet. toward the end, you can hear the noise of the blade really struggling. That's when you know it is thick enough to be taken out and to start kneading. Okay, so here we are. This is what the dough is supposed to look like. It's very, very sticky. So the best thing to do, this is a secret, it's taken me a while to figure out, is that you oil your hands. Any type of oil. I use olive oil. Okay, and then we're going to take our spatula, or in this case, a big spoon, and you're going to pour this all out onto a very well floured surface. It is very, very sticky and elasticy, and that's what it's supposed to be doing. Okay, see that? This is what it's supposed to look like, so never fear. Now you take it on your well-floured surface, and I'm going to be adding in at least another 1 cup of additional flour. And notice how I'm rolling it around, and this is called kneading. You just pull it toward you, and with the palms of your hands, pull it away from you. So you keep doing that for about 4 or 5 minutes. And as you're doing that, you're incorporating, as I said, another at least 1 to 1.5 cups of flour. Just kind of roll it around. And as I keep doing this, it becomes less and less sticky, more and more soft, which is what we want it. See the difference now? Look at that. No more stickiness. So we're just going to keep doing that for a couple minutes. And this is really therapeutic, by the way. All you people out there now that are really having trouble with what's going on, this really, really helps. Really, really good. Let me tell you, it feels great. Okay. Oh, now it's getting a little sticky again. So I'm going to add a little bit more. So you want to pre-measure your flour. I have an additional 2 cups in here. And it depends upon the moisture that's in your house and the temperature that's in your house. It just depends on what those situations are, and you just act accordingly. And then I have a scraper. It's really awesome. You can use this, and it really cleans your countertop really well. Okay? Off. So now I'm going to take my kneaded dough. I'm going to put it in a prepared bowl, preferably glass, and I just put butter on the bottom, and you plop it in and then flip it over. So there's a nice buttery top for your dough, and then I'm going to cover it. Some recipes say you have to cover it with plastic. I don't. I just use a cloth towel, and I put it in a warm area. Preferably like in an oven, that way it's draft free for 1 solid hour. Okay, it's been a little under an hour, and look at the change. How this has really, really, really grown. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? If you look back at the video, you can see how small it was. It was all thank you to the yeast. Okay, so we're gonna flip it over and make sure it's on a very well floured surface. And we're going to do this. We're going to start taking your knuckle, and we're going to cut down all the way around the edges, get some air bubbles out, then in the middle. And then we're going to divide this into 16 equal parts. And for this, I'm going to use my blade again. It is way easier. So right now, we're just going to eyeball it. You don't have to be super, super exact. And I just put them in little balls for now. Okay? So, it's nice and soft. It's kind of warm. This is all the yeast acting on it. And I can already smell how delicious this is going to be. It has a very, very, very slight aroma of that almond extract. And my last video session that I had, it was almond extract. It's 1 1/2 tablespoons almond extract that you're going to put into the mixer. Okay? Decided to do another one just to demonstrate. It's like tying a knot. You don't want it super, super, super long and thin, otherwise it breaks or it just doesn't come out fine. Now, what I used to do in the past, which took me a while to figure out, is that you tie the knot and the head starts sticking to the wings of it, and it just, look, it's just doesn't work. So this is what we're gonna do. My secret to prevent all that is you roll this out, and very gently add a tiny bit of flour to your hands. Shake, 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 like this. Get a tiny bit dusting of flour on this, and it prevents the dough from sticking. There you go, see that? Then you flatten out the tail, and then you cut two little things there for the tail, and there you go. And then we'll do it again one more time. I'll show you. Aren't they cute? After this, we're going to put them in the oven with a cloth towel and let them rise for about 30 minutes, and they will get very big. So it's important for you to separate them. Okay, separate them a good inch and a half. Now, this one looks like maybe a Roadrunner because he has a really long tail. And you can kind of take the tail feathers and kind of separate them a little bit. There you go. And so you just keep doing this. And I usually use 2 of these sheets because, as I said, they get double in size. You don't want them touching when they get out of the oven done from their rising, because when they do that, then they're kind of sticky and they kind of are hard to get undone. And then you have to kind of start over again. Okay, so I'll do one more. That poor little guy was sticking on the wall. I don't know what happened to him. And I flatten this out. Here we go. You know, also helps too is if you find that the dough is tiny sticky, you can just dip a little bit of the knife into the flour and press this that way for sure they won't stick. Okay? There you go. See how separated they are? Do like this. And that's about as close as they should get. And then I will show you a little bit what they look like right afterwards when they get out of the oven for their final rising, and I'll show you how large they got. Okay? So now all the dough is equally distributed with 16 balls, okay? They don't have to be exact. For those of you who really have to know that, I measured it with my trusty little weight, and it's about around 2.2 pounds. Again, it doesn't have 2.2 ounces. that's a big bird, 2 pounds. So anyway, we're gonna put them all aside like this. The reason why you want them to be roughly the same size is so that they will bake the same way, the same size, the same amount of time, and that's important. You don't want a tiny bird and he's gonna be burning because the bigger bird next to him is still cooking. So we're going to make a pencil out of it. I'm going to squeeze the dough to get all the air bubbles out, lightly floured surface, and I do this, you roll it out, you roll it out a little bit, and then you're going to tie it and push one end through. That's the head, this is the tail, okay? So that's what we're going to do. Then we're going to take a sharp knife, and I'm going to make 2 little incisions here. That's for the tail. And I'm going to put it onto this surface here. You can or cannot use parchment paper, it doesn't matter. So, and then we go on to the next one, and we do this 16 times. So these are what the doves look like. They're all put together, and now I'm going to cover them with a cloth and maybe for about 20 minutes, put them back in the oven. Okay? And if anything, if you can have it be a slightly warm oven, what I usually do is that I turn the oven on for about maybe 60 seconds at 350 and then turn it off. That's the key. You got to remember to turn it off. So here they go. And then I'll show you what they look like afterwards, and then we'll get to work with the finishing touches of these birds. So I just took these out of the oven, and look how much they've grown. Hope you can see the big difference. Okay, and I also made my 2-pound bird. No, really, it's just double. So after this, you are going to take in a small pan 1/4 cup honey and about 1 tablespoon of butter, and you're going to melt it. And let that aside. We're just going to heat that up. You're going to preheat the oven to 400 and let it bake for 25 minutes. When they get out of the oven, we will immediately brush with this concoction of honey and butter and start the process of putting in the eyes and the beak. So now I'm taking these birds out of the oven, and you pretty much have to brush them as soon as you can while they get out of the oven, because they're hot and the honey and the butter, they kind of go on a lot easier. You don't have to glob it on, just a nice sheen finish. It also acts as a glue for the raisin to, once it gets in the eyes, the inside will really kind of stick. So they came out really cute, just a light golden brown. So we do that with all of them. That's the finishing touches. And then we're gonna set the eyes. They look so cute already. Oh, they smell so good. Oh my gosh. Now I just put in all the honey on the birds and brushed it with that concoction of honey and butter, and then I took a little teeny tiny bits of raisins and you put it where you think the eyes should go, and then you just tuck it in. If you don't do this step, they kind of fall out. Then you take a little small half almond and you stick it right there. See that? And there's one. So then you follow up with all the rest, and then they look like all my other birds. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and here is the list. I don't know if you can copy and paste this one piece of information. Probably not, but that's the whole recipe and the method of doing it. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this.